Hello everyone, welcome to Gosport Railworks. My name's James and today we're doing another ready to run review. This time we're looking at the Kato Steam Pocket line, which is a rather nice little product really. It's you get a nice little locomotive here and two coaches, and it didn't really cost all that much, even though I had to get this one off eBay because it's normally out of stock from Train Tracks, which is where you can normally get it from. But yeah, as you can see, it's in German packaging because yeah, that's the only way I can actually get it. But yeah, let's get it out and have a look at it. The product code, unfortunately, is not actually on this particular packaging, but from Train Tracks, it is 10-500-3, the Steam Train Pack 2 Pocket Line. Normally costing about, well, so it's the UK RRP is £69, or about £61, as it's saying on Train Tracks. Let me just get you out. Ooh, there we go. And I'll get you out as well. And finally, this little engine here. So I'll pop you all over there. There's no other bits inside. Just so the other side of the packaging. I said, unfortunately, all in German, and I don't really speak German. I can recognise a few words, but that's probably about it. It does have a nice alternative livery on that one. And it just has pictures of the engine on the other two sides. So that can live over here. And yes, we have a little train here. But I do have to mention, the actual engine is unpowered. The motor is in this first coach. You can tell which one it is because it has this little arrow here. So yeah, this just rolls around unpowered, but it is still a nice little looking engine. And from what it looks like, this one is actually based off a real life prototype, so I will be able to tell you a bit more about the prototype as well. So yeah, that'll be nice to have a look at. Anyway, let's get these scales out and have a look at how much it will weigh. So I'll weigh each one individually. So the engine is a minuscule 11.2 grams. Because there's basically just a bit of weight in there just to make sure it stays on the track. Now I'll do the unpowered coach first. And that's not much better, that's only 15.2. So yes, very light. And now we have the powered coach. Which is unsurprisingly, is basically double the weight of the engine. It's 21.1. So yes, you can tell where all the beef and weight is in this train pack. But yeah, it's a rather nice little affordable train pack really. Probably good to get somebody interested in N-Gates, I'd recommend. But not one really to expand with because, like I said, this is unpowered and you can't really use this to pull anything else really. Maybe stuff behind it, so at least have that. But anyway, let's have a look at each of the items. So let's have a look at the engine first. So this is only, I said, recommended price is only £61, so we do have to take into account of what to expect. And let me just move my microphone out of the way because I'm going to bash myself in the head. Yeah, it's a rather nice little engine. Ooh. Yeah, it does have molded detail on the front here. It does have two little lights here, but they don't actually work. But they are nicely picked out in silver. Two boiler bands picked out in gold. I say gold brass, and they do seem like metal because so they are separately fitted. Tempo printing is only basic, but it still looks clean and legible, very easy to read. Let's see, obviously nothing really much on the bottom. No NEM pockets, but does have very robust repeater coupling. There's a mock coupling on the front. The smoke box door is quite nicely picked out. Does have a little bit of riveting around it. Very nice. Let's see, is there any interior detail? Probably not. No, there isn't. Like I said, £61 and you get two coaches as well. It's not really that much of a trouble. But all the exterior detail it's basic, but it does look nice. So the handrails are just molded, but still, it's durable. It's not gonna, you can't really break it. So yes, that's quite nice. I'll leave you over here. Put the power car for last. For the unpowered one, so the livery is basic, but again, it's probably prototypical. I like this nice sign on the top here, but not that. Is that mold? It might be part from where it was molded off, and that's just the excess material. So that could have probably been cleaned off, but I'm not too sure if it is actually prototypical or not. You can pick out the doors. There's no glazing on the ends. You can actually poke straight through them. There is glazed windows on the side, so that's very nice to see. These little verandas, they're quite nice. These handrails, they're quite durable. And there's a template printing here. Can't have. What is that? No, that's not template printing. That's just a bit of bit of foil. But template printing here is legible as well, just about. Bit too small for me, but just about read it. Let's have a nice. This bit is cold, so that is a nice solid bit of weight, and which they made it part of the chassis down here as well. But yeah, you can definitely tell that is something solid because it's cold, so it's probably a little bit of metal. There's a little bit of interior detail. Not sure how to. Can we get this top off? No, I'm not gonna. Might just be able to do it, but yeah, not easily. I had to be very careful to remove that. Yeah, very basic, but still, it's extremely durable. Like I said, you can push these handrails a fair bit, and it just spring back into shape. And these little steps on the side, they're quite nice as well. No detail on the bottom, but it does tell you who made it. So I'll pop you there. And the powered car. Now, this is a very common, I don't want to say common, but it's a very simple motor on the inside here. You can actually buy these separately, these motor units. I did buy one before. That's for my brewery rail car or something very similar to this. Detail is exactly the same as the other coats, apart from it does have a printed detail here. However, I can't read that. It may say something actually other than pointing out this is the motor vehicle. I don't know if it actually says something prototypical because it's a very small bit of text. It may say the company name for the for the rail service, but yeah, I can't quite pick that out. But it does look like it says something. Doesn't look like there's any interior detail. This one only had basic at the most. This one doesn't. That just looks like the block for the top part of the block for the motor, and still no glazing there, but still glazing on the side. So at least it matches. Yeah, a very nice little bit of kit. That's probably as much as I can say about it at the moment. So yeah, let me get onto the turntable and then tell you a bit more about the actual prototype of the engine, and then we can get it onto my layout and see it running. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. The Newbies Class 1 was a 040 tank locomotive class built for the Lower Austrian State Railway by Cross and Comp between 1897 and 1908. The Austrian State Railways purchased 9 of these small tank locomotives to operate the routes which they opened in 1903, were first numbered between 100 to 105, and from 1905 as 1.01 to 1.09. Engine 100 was bought used from the Mutch Construction Company. The following ones were ordered directly from Cross in Linz. They worked as a light and mixed traffic locomotive and so ran both freight and passenger services. On a flat route, they were able to tow a trailer load of 620 tons at 25 kilometers an hour. and at a gradient of 20% it was still able to haul a train of 130 tons at 10 kilometers an hour. The locomotives were used on numerous local railways, including the Gassendorf to Messebach route and the Kornelberg to Hohenau route, which has a lot of gradients. When the Austrian Federal Railways took over from the Lower Austrian State Railways in 1922, the 9 locomotives were classified as 184.01 to 184.09 and were mostly used for shunting in Husseldorf. Locomotive 1.04 came to the Steel Brewery in Salzburg in 1929 as the factory locomotive. In 1938, the Dutch Reichsbahn took over 3 of the locomotives as 88.001 to 88.003. After the Second World War, the Austrian Federal Railway only had 1 machine left, the former 1.01, which was now called 88.01 and was finally retired in 1968. Engine 88.01 is preserved in the Strashaus Railway Museum, and the former 1.04, later called Stiegel 1, is now at the Nossenbach in Castelia. Right, here we are, the Kato steam pocket line now on my layout, and it's actually a rather nice little engine. Like I said, I've got them all separated so I can see how well the 2 unpowered vehicles roll on their own, and the powered vehicle is on its own in the middle. So yeah, let's see. Let's do the rear coats first, which does roll very nicely. That's very smooth, very smooth, very smooth coats. I think if I actually pushed it along with a bit of force, making sure not to push it too hard so it doesn't roll off the track. Yeah, I think that would have actually gone a very nice distance. Now on to the actual loco. It does have a fair bit of smooth, free rolling to it. I think it has got a little bit of resistance due to all these little bits on the side, the coupling rods and stuff like that. So it's not quite as free rolling as the coats back here, but still it's quite nice. And yep, and that couples up quite nicely as well. I have also noticed that on these 2 coaches, I'll carefully lift it off. Need 2 hands for this. It does look like there is actually holes on the top for adding light to the coaches. As I was actually looking at how to remove the bodies, and then found these 2 holes. So you might be able to actually add lights to these. Not entirely sure. There's no instructions, so I can't really tell. Anyway, let's see how well this thing runs at slow speed. Ooh. Ooh, and it's stalled. Yeah, I don't think it's the best slow speed runner. And it's stalled again. Keep on. Oh. Actually, I found out the problem. Somehow I got the switch dead in the middle, so it wasn't actually in either direction. So, yeah. It's not too bad. It's not the best slow speed runner, but I said it's probably only a reasonably priced motor, not something really. No, actually, from the looks like it, there is actually some flywheels in there. There's a very slight. You may not be able to see on the camera. You can see that slight shine there. That looks like a flywheel, and there is enough one on the other end. So maybe a very nice motor in there actually. But we'll have to have a see sometime, as I do plan to use this as a kit build for something. Anyway, let's have a good run around the layout. I did give the track a clean, so hopefully it won't get stuck up the tunnel. Yep, there we go. It seems to be a rather fast runner, but it might just be set a bit too high. That's a bit more reasonable. Yeah. I might need to give the track a bit more of a clean. But yeah, that's not too bad. But now on to the main topics. Who would I actually say this is for? Because we already know the price, it's only £61. But what would be best use for this? Well, if you only want a very small, I want to say more like a diorama sized layout. Basically, it's just a small oval track or a very simple layout. This would be probably an ideal little low engine, because because the only modular bit which you can take off will be the rear coats, because you need this one, and it'll look a bit old without this one. So yeah. So yeah, it's a nice little thing for, well, to be honest, it's probably more designed for children, so still, it's a nice little engine. And it is quite nice that they have based it off a real life engine. But yeah, very nice. Any other main things? Not too much really. But would I recommend it? If you were, like I said, if you're only going for a very simple layout, basically an oval, just so you can run a train round for a nice reasonable price, I would actually recommend this. However, if you want expandability, I wouldn't, because like I said, most people would buy a loco, then buy stuff for that. For this, it has to run as a full unit. But for a little, what's it I want to say? If you've got a little layout where you just want a small little train, and say just a little train just for preservation line, or just to have a little local service, yeah, probably would do alright for that. But it has to be the entire train, not just the loco, because you can't run it without anything else really. So yeah, it's not too bad really. But this one in particular I'm going to be using for something else. So yeah. But yeah, it's a reasonable price thing, and it is probably something which you can get for somebody to get them into N-Gage. So yeah, it's still a nice little engine. And like I said, for 60 quid, I can't really complain. But if you want a bit more expandability, I'd say have a look at the, what was it? It's the other Kato Pocket Line one, the electric engine. That one looks a bit more. That one's a bit more expandability, because the locomotive itself is the powered unit, so that was probably a bit better. But yeah, still I'm quite happy with it, and yeah, I'll probably run it around at some point. If I can ever work out how to get the body off from the coaches and do something inside them. Anyway, that's going to be it for me, and that's going to be it for the little tank engine over there. And we'll see everyone again next time. So if you did like the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And if you didn't like the video, well, I hope you enjoy it anyway. And yeah, that's it for me. And I'll see you again next time. So take care now. Bye-bye. There we go. Try and get reasonable speed. Still probably a bit too fast. Oh well. Take care now. Bye-bye.